business for 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, you will have business in 5, 10, 15 countries by then. And you won't even understand how that happened, but it will go, and it will ping pong back and forth around the world, over continents, over oceans, and it will end up being everywhere eventually. And there's really nothing you can do to stop that as long as you're plugged into this opportunity. Because people know people who know people everywhere. And so it's a natural result of what we do. So the goal of this whole thing is freedom. People will die for freedom. I hope you're willing to pay a price to be free. I love the song that was playing when Ronnie and Lenny came out, right? You got to fight for the right to have freedom. And that's what it takes. You got to fight to get it. Nobody's going to give it to you. You got to fight and say, that's what I'm going to do. And if we want freedom, we ask ourselves, well, how do we get it? It's maybe not, flying around curled up in a ball in first class on an airline trying to cover the whole world yourself. The way you get it is you get it by being able to plug into a team and plug into a system where everybody on the team understands what the system is and it's defined. And everybody agrees that the system is more important than their own personal needs. It's more important than their own ego. And that's the key. Can we say to ourselves, it's more important that we do the same thing so that when people show up in different places, that we have a basis to work together. We've got a foundation that has been built that allows us to work together for a common goal. And that means that you're going to do some work for other people sometimes. But they're also in turn going to do some work for you sometime, someplace. And so it's about paying it back, right? And that's what happens. So the vision I've always had is to create this global professional organization that is like nothing that exists anywhere in the world. I've looked at other organizations, other companies. I've looked at what Amway's done as they've tried to build their business around the world and how much more difficult that is for their leaders, not so much for the company, but really impossible for their leaders to end up having any real business in other countries. The hurdles they put in place, the requirements you have to do, all these things make it really, really difficult. And so here we are today with a company which, like Scott Schwartz said earlier today, this evening, he talked about the investment, just the changes in technology in banking and delivering the checks globally, as he talked about that tonight. And just the difference of being able to track the volumes. The people that sit in the high-rise building over here that hedge currencies all month long, watching where the payouts need to go between markets, where the cash is coming in and commissions have to be paid to uplines. I mean, what this company has done to actually put together and produce the ability to have a global organization is something that doesn't exist anyplace else. People say they do what Nu Skin does. Oh yeah, we have the ability for you to create these businesses around the world. It is not like this. It is not even close to what we're doing here at Nu Skin. And so it is a remarkable thing to spread your risk, to not have to depend on any one currency. Scott said tonight that we make payments every month in 18 currencies, right? And so you have this ability where you don't even have to depend on any one currency. You can build a business that isn't dependent on one location, one country, one continent, one currency, or anything else. And that is something that is unachievable. Any place else in the world that I'm aware of, I don't know anything else you can do. Any company you can work for, any other network company you can join, any traditional corporation you can join where that is the case. And you have this ability to travel to the places you want to travel, work with the people you want to work with, and build teams like this all over the world. It is truly remarkable. So can we build something that nobody's ever built? What do you think? I mean, I'm confident we can if we put the common goal before our personal goal. If we say we're going to do this and we're going to be part of this and we're going to take care of each other, a place where mentorship and support are unparalleled. Where people can plug into a group of people that are rooting for their success. That's the only way we succeed, right? And can you get to a place where you can root for other people, your sideline success, as much as your success?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. And maybe you won't get there in the very beginning if you're still trying to buy your groceries and you're thinking, I really need to make sure I can feed myself and my family. Sometimes it's hard to think beyond that and say, I'm going to care about this other person as much as I care about my own success. But that's a place that we all need to get to if we want this to work in the way that it potentially can. And so that's what we need to do. Do you think we can make a place where a man or a woman is truly his brother's keeper or his sister's keeper? Right? I mean, can we live the golden rule like that? Can we really care about other people, be willing to take care of each other, and be willing to do it in a way that we would never, ever compromise our integrity by harming another sideline, by taking somebody else's contact, enticing somebody else's prospect to be part of our team and our organization. And there's a great temptation to do that, and a lot of times you have to be doubly prepared to say no. Because sometimes you're going to send people to a meeting in another country where you don't speak the language. And they're going to go to a place where people are speaking their language and presenting in their language, and they can see that those people live there and that they could be of help. They could be of assistance to that person. And sometimes your guest, who doesn't understand all this stuff about one team, one dream, and 1 billion, right? They don't understand about one team global. They're tempted to go to those leaders and say, this person told me to come here. I don't really know him that well. I can see you're here. You speak my language. You've got the organization here. Can't I just work with you? That's kind of a logical thought, isn't it, for a person who doesn't understand what we're doing? It's our job to say, you know what? You're welcome here and you're welcome to work with us, but we will not sponsor you. You have to sign up with the people that referred you to this meeting. That's how we do it. Because we have, right? Because we have this base of values amongst ourselves, we would never want to, hurt or harm any of our sideline brothers and sisters, right? Okay. And then we get to do this whole thing, this organization building, creating something that no one's ever created, having this place where people can get support and help, mentorship, and they can feel like everybody's willing to look after everybody else. And that's kind of the feeling that is in the Nu Skin family, right? So people feel like, wow, this is a special place. And then they can jump into this thing called Nu Skin, and they can get tried, right? Nu Skin will try you. Nu Skin will try your patience. It'll try your belief. It'll test your faith and your patience, right? Do you think? How many people here have their business go faster than they want it to? I've never had it happen. My whole career, I'm like, I wish it was going faster. Every day I still wish. I wish it would grow faster. I wish these people could have success faster, right? And so you plug them into this thing called Nu Skin that's going to test them, and it's going to try them. It's going to try their patience, right? And all of a sudden they've got this human development laboratory because every day we put it on the line. Every day we meet new people. Every day we're explaining and sometimes defending, what we do as a lifestyle, as a career, for our living. How we promote this concept that is hard for people to get their head around it. And so I think Nu Skin's the greatest human development laboratory I've ever seen. I don't know of any other place you can come and it will challenge you every day to get better, to become a confident person, to create that personal power that is magnetizing for other people, to get attracted to you, because of who you become. And I was just really impressed with Ronnie and Lanny because the last thing she said, it's not the lifestyle, the money, the homes, all the things that we have, right? She said that the greatest thing is who we've become as people by overcoming the challenges, right? That's how we change and grow. We never, ever can change and grow when we're securely in our comfort zone and everything just feels okay. You only change and grow when you're outside of that comfort zone. You know, when you're on the ragged edge and you're not quite sure you can really do it all like that yet. That's when you really change, right? That's when you really grow, when you're outside that comfort zone. And so that's why it's such a great laboratory. And the reason it can become a tremendous experience for people is that they can get inside this thing that's going to test them and try them and push them and keep them out of their comfort zone. And yet they've got mentors who've already been there, a support system called System 7, and One Team Global that can assist them in what they're doing and give people this ability to be kind of wrapped in this cocoon of, hey, it's okay. You can do it, and you will make it someday because we've been there, right? So that's where we're going. That's what we want to talk. Okay. You know, we're rolling out this new branding. Do you guys like the logos? Do you like the new stuff? Richard Worthington and Charlie Patterson have done tremendous work on this with a professional branding organization, people that do brand management. And so they spent a lot of time and effort, collected a lot of feedback. Some of you in this room filled out big old surveys and all these things. And so this is the culmination of many months worth of work saying, okay, so Nu Skin's going to do Nu Skin 3.0. It's time that as a distributor organization, collectively, not just in this market, but globally, we step up our game to equal what Nu Skin's doing, right? I mean, I think Nu Skin's really stepped it up. And I think they're really trying to get the alignment. I mean, the product R&D cycles that we heard from Mark Bartlett today about every year having another major launch, right? Nu Skin's accelerating their internal R&D processes and development. Nu Skin had a plan just a year ago to only do a major launch every other year of product. And even Nu Skin has now said, it's time to accelerate that. We're going to do it every year so that we can plug into these cycles, and every year we have another major LTO, and then a 6-month follow-up LTO, then another major LTO, then a 6-month follow-up, right? And so they're aligning, they're seeing what's happening, and they're accelerating what they're doing. And so it's time for us to step up our game, and I just have to say thank you to Gary DeRitter and Charlie Patterson for the work they've been doing. They have really stepped up the game beyond what I'd ever done in the past, and it's just amazing to see what's taking place and then how this is spreading around the world. So, do you know what a style guide is? So we're going to ask everybody here to learn something today about branding. I didn't know all this stuff either before we got started on this. Please use the marks that we are publishing from One Team Global. Please don't change them. Please don't separate them and split them apart. Please don't distort them and stretch them and make them oblong or anything else, okay? Part of brand management and creating a brand is to have that consistent same look. Fonts, colors, logos, white space, all the things you need to have to make it correct. And so that's what we're hoping everybody here will do. And we will continue to issue these logos or these brands, so to speak, based on markets. I mean, some markets are going to want to be identified in a little bit different way or have their name of their region underneath One Team Global. And so we've already got all those things done and in process for places we don't have them completed for yet. So please just follow the style guide, and anybody who's a leader will be able to download the entire style guide so you can see how to use the marks and how not to use the marks. And so if we do this properly, it's going to become a recognized thing. And you'll see that we have things for all the events. I didn't really cover this too much, but you can see that we have them for Success Summit, for regional meetings, for Team Elite University, for the weekly business briefings in your own city, for the workshops that take place locally as well. So all these marks are done. And when we put these up, and we have a hotel meeting now, and it's going to be our weekly business briefing, we can slap that right up. One Team Global Business Briefing logo, you can print that on things. You can put them on the name tags. You can do, whatever you want to do to brand what we're doing and who we are. Okay. To do this and to pull together an organization where everybody knows what to expect, where when you walk into a Marriott hotel, you pretty much know what you're going to get because it's a brand. Or when you go to McDonald's, you pretty much know what you're going to get. It doesn't really matter which country you're in because it's a global brand and people know what to expect from a brand, right? They expect a certain level of consistency, of quality. They expect the ability to have things be the same with the brand. That's what their expectations are because of what the brand has created. Well, that's the same thing that we have to do here. And we've had meetings in Europe, we've had meetings here, and meetings have taken place as well in Asia to try to get the System 7 names, the naming of things, what we call things, the same. So the definitions are the same. Otherwise, we can't create effective communication to know what we're sending somebody to and what we know they're going to see, or how the workshop's going to be conducted in that market, or how the training's going to go, or what a Success Summit or a Success Olympics is going to be like in a different market. And so it's important that we have these things together. And so we've been able to settle on these names: one-on-one meetings, in-home presentations, business briefings. So we're not calling it an opportunity meeting anymore. We're calling it a business briefing, okay? And so that will be the same all over the world. And then we say we have a System 7 workshop. So it's not so much a fast start training anymore, it's a System 7 workshop. And we have regional gatherings that'll happen in different parts of the different countries, different parts of the United States and Canada. And then we have finally Success Summits like this one, or Success Olympics as they call it, in markets where the Olympic Committee hasn't yet come to them and said, don't use our name anymore. They'll probably all be called Success Summit eventually. But anyway, that's the way it is today. So there's an expectation attached to each one of these names, of these meetings, about what they're going to be when you send somebody to these meetings, right? And I don't care if you send them there in Vietnam, or you send them there in Indonesia, or you send them there in France, or you send them there in Hungary, or you send them there in Japan. All right, this is what you're going to see, and this is what people will start to expect. We know what the terminology is, don't we? Well, duplication, edification, no cross-lining, and consultation. When we started System 7 in this market, I made a big mistake because we changed a few of the names. And we would say respect cross-lines, which doesn't mean anything close to what no cross-lining really means. And we changed consultation to coaching, and that wasn't right either. So we've now gone back to change those to what they really need to be. And we're asking for your support that we all utilize these names and that we say these names. And we don't call things what we used to call them. In many parts of the world, an opportunity meeting or a business briefing is a BOM. Business opportunity meeting, right? We're not going to call them BOMs anymore. We're going to call them business briefings, all right? So workshop, summit, regional, workflow, ladder of escalation. What does that mean? Core habits, teamwork. These are all terms of the system that mean something. And everybody here is a leader. You need to know what those are. And you need to understand how they operate and utilize them in a consistent way. So consistent content. It starts with a 5-point presentation. We use that at one-on-ones, in-homes, and business briefings. Any place we're presenting the opportunity of Nu Skin to people, then we want to have that standardized presentation. Now, it will vary slightly by market because some products are not even in some markets, and some things are just a little bit different. But the 5-point structure we want to keep so people can learn it. And when you send somebody to a meeting in another market, you have a pretty good idea that they're going to hear about these 5 points. So you know what to ask them when you contact them after the meeting. You know how to follow up, and you know what to direct how to direct the conversation. System 7 workshop now has a workbook that follows a specific format, and we would hope that everybody would adopt that and adopt that globally. A regional event format. When you have a regional, what's the format? What should be covered? How should the day flow? And that's all structured. Team Elite University and fly-ins, as they call them in other parts of the world. Those presentations and formats are now done. And we would hope you would adopt that and follow those. And then finally, Success Summit or Olympics, this 3-day format that we're experiencing this weekend, is here for a reason, right? These are the pinnacles of the types of events that we hold inside One Team Global in System 7. Now, if Ronnie and Lanny have a goal in Indonesia, which is spread out among I don't know how many islands, it's really tough to get people together, and they're going to do 10,000 people by 2017, do you think we can do better than that? So we've got 1,500 this weekend, something like that. And so the next goal would be we want to double it, don't we? Yeah, we do. Does everybody here want to bring twice as many people as you have this time? Yeah, I think that's a very doable thing if everybody sets that as a goal and says that's what I'm going to do. And then we go from there to 3,000 to 6,000 to 12,000. And I can see easily how that could actually happen. So hopefully we'll make that all take place. Now, we have this structure. You got to have a structure in place to kind of administer things and to make decisions and set schedules and organize events, right? That's our job. All of us here as leaders, that's our job to participate. Locally, first place you'll do that is in an area leadership council. So there's an area leadership council that can be organized in any specific geographic area where the leaders get together and decide how to organize weekly presentations and business briefings and workshops and participate in regionals. And that's where you start learning how to be a leader. And you got to be a great follower before you can be a great leader. Right? Yes, you do. You got to learn how to follow before you can lead. And then the next thing is to have a national or regional OTG core teams. So we have a core team for North America. We have core teams in other places around the world, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and some places in Asia. And so the core team are just people that work for about a year. They're selected by leaders, and they work together, and it's a thankless job, right? I mean, nobody understands the work and time that goes into that. And there's a weekly meeting that's a conference call that happens every week where all these things are discussed about how to continue to move the business forward. Assignments are made, people follow through, and they do the things they're asked to do. And guess how big the pay is? 0. Yeah. It's like no good deed goes unpunished when you're on the core team, right? That's right. And so that's what happens there. And then we have, in some cases, regional boards of directors. Okay, we have one in the U.S. and Canada. We have one in Western Europe. And there's a board of sorts also in Eastern Europe. And so these things are organized. And so now we had, at the last convention, the first ever global OTG meeting of leaders, board meeting. And that took place in Park City with about 33 people participating from, I think, 20 different countries. And so I'm going to show a little bit of that right now quickly. I'm going to apologize in advance. I don't have all the pictures for these people. Okay, so some of them are sitting in this room, and sorry, your picture's not going to be up on the screen because we didn't get the picture back from you. But some of you are here, and you will see your pictures there. But this is just to put some faces with some names, okay? So this is Edward Chen and Michelle Liu, and they're in I just went blank. Sorry, I'll get it. Hang on. What's next to Singapore? Malaysia. There we go. Okay, so they're in Malaysia. And Michelle and Edward have done an amazing job. And there's multiple other leaders there that are participating as well. And then in Canada, there's a few leaders that are participating there. Mark sent his picture in, so we've got Mark on there. But Roz Hobbs' picture isn't here, and Roz should be up there participating. Roz is on the core team for North America and represents Canada really well, right? In Japan, we have Peter and Karu Bannister. And these people have just done a tremendous job in that market. And then we also have Masami Light. And Masami does a weekly call for all of Japan. She's done it for like over, I don't know how many years now, a long time. And she's just diehard, dedicated service. These people will help anybody do their business in Japan. And then in Korea, Mr. and Mrs. Shin. Amazing people that have always been open. I think there's 2 or 3 training centers throughout Seoul that all do OTG System 7 trainings, and people can plug in there. In Western Europe, we have our great friends and sidelines, the Westbergs and Toby Johansson, and many others that serve on that board over there, and they've done a tremendous job organizing One Team Global Western Europe over there. And then East Europe, of course, Kenton and Natalie Worthington have headed that up for a long time. And appreciate all that they've done over there. And they've got a whole group of leaders that work in Hungary, Romania, Slovakia, Poland, Czech Republic, and all these places in Eastern Europe. Full System 7 operation happening there. And then, of course, North America. Doing just the most incredible job. And, if I didn't have Charlie and Gary pushing me, I'm sure I wouldn't be where I am today. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that. I don't have any pictures for South America. I'm sorry, but there's a whole bunch of great leaders running System 7, One Team Global Events, from Patty Acosta and Rudy Hoffman, and all these different leaders that are all through those markets down there. And I don't want to miss names, but there's a lot of names down there of people doing great things. Okay, Australia, New Zealand, Georgie Lane Caligaris, and I don't have pictures up here for Paul and Kirsty Cook, but they are doing New Zealand and Australia and doing a great job running One Team Global System 7 events down there, always willing to help, and some great sidelines in other markets down there, Grand Park and other people that have done a great job. Robert Vilhagen over in the Philippines has just been a diehard, helping anybody who needs help in that market, and has done a great job doing OTG System 7 there. We know these people. Wow, this is a phenomenal job. Thank you so much. And look at what they've put together. Deciding, just two leaders deciding, we're going to learn how to do this. We'll fly wherever we got to fly in the world. We'll learn how to launch System 7. We're just going to do it. That's called initiative, right? And so they have organized that and put that whole country together, and look what is happening. That market is going to be absolutely enormous, and they're going to benefit thousands of people going forward. And then we have Nicholas from South Africa, who's running One Team Global down there and doing a great job. And there's a small organization there, but they've got started, and they're doing great things, right? Vietnam, we can put a whole bunch of people up here. I didn't have Terry, but for Terry, too, and Ben, they're here in North America running part of things here and doing core team here as well, but have teams over there and downline over there. And these are just some of the people that are doing things, Troy Holzer and others, and Jeff and Diana, you guys, I didn't have your picture. But, anyway, there's a lot of folks working, so please don't take any offense. And there's a bunch of other people in Argentina, but this young man's done a really big job being dedicated and trying to really help everybody build their businesses down there. And Eileen's been there so much, and Grace, and so many other people doing great things down there as well. So it's just a great thing to be part of a group where people care about the whole, and they're willing to, give time and energy to help everybody accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. So, just in summary, right, it's more important that we all do the same things, right, instead of serving ourselves and just our own egos. To have this global coordination and alignment, you've got to have well-defined guidelines and formats. And that's what's been developed, so people understand what the words mean, what the terms mean, and how we can do it. Just to understand the world is a really big place, and you can't be everywhere all the time. And what the slide said at the beginning of my presentation is we all want freedom. That's what the end objective of all this is that we're free. We're free financially. We've got health freedom. Physically, we're healthy. We can go into our old age with moving body parts and brains that work and, being vital and fit instead of being, the normal example of aging that we see around us. So we're going to redefine aging. So we're going to redefine wellness and being fit. So financial freedom, health freedom, all these things that we want to have, and time freedom. And so freedom is why I do this business. I hope it's why you're doing this business, because I truly believe that if that's not the main motivation, that I don't think the motivation is going to be big enough to really push you through the obstacles that you're going to have to go through, the personal growth that you're going to have to do to get to where you want to be in your life and in this business. And so know that if you're part of a team like this, someday you'll have teams everywhere. And if you can count on people to help you, then you will build a business that will be an amazing business that will make you free. So the foundation is honesty, integrity, and accountability, right?